They said, fight a real boxer. They said, fight someone your size. They said, fight a world champion. We looked at a long list of supposed fighters for me to fight.
Yeah. Good. Right hand. Good. Right hand. Good. Right hand. That's the shot. See? If he comes in there, that's it over. You see what I mean? You don't have to do that or come out. Just boom, drop the chin. Good. Left hook high now and then just roll my right hook. Good. Too low.
He was that, oh, this happened, that happened. So it's the name of my career is criticizing me and then making excuses after I do the impossible or no way it's gonna happen.
With 4 weeks remaining before Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua step into the ring, both fighters are clearly pushing themselves to the limit. Jake is seen grinding through intense workouts, sparring hard, and treating this match as the biggest challenge of his career. Meanwhile, Joshua appears sharp, powerful, and extremely focused, proving he is not underestimating Jake in any way. Their preparation reflects discipline, determination, and serious commitment.
Nothing, that's good. Don't look for nothing. Now step around him. Upper body. Keep a rhythm now. Keep a rhythm. Don't wait on him. Now you're waiting on him, mate.
Don't look for anything. That's good. Don't look for anything. Now step around him. Upper body movement. Keep the rhythm now. Keep the rhythm. Don't wait on him. Now you're waiting on him, mate. How do you feel? The boxing world is buzzing with endless predictions as the Jake Paul vs Anthony Joshua fight gets closer. Among all the voices, Joey Knight delivered one of the strongest warnings, yet he believes Jake is taking this fight mainly because it brings massive attention, viral moments, and a huge global audience. According to Joey, Jake understands the business side of boxing better than most, and he knows this matchup guarantees enormous money, but Joey argues that Jake is pushing the limits for financial gain. He stresses that stepping in with someone as dangerous and experienced as Anthony Joshua is nothing like Jake's previous fights. Joshua is a true heavyweight powerhouse. One punch from him can change a career instantly. Joey warns that if Jake gets seriously hurt, all the fame, money, and hype will mean nothing afterward.
Make a lot of cash, maybe not as much as the Anthony Joshua fight, but a lot of cash, and can still have a serious chance of going on to earn even more paydays, whereas the damage that it could do to his body could be irreversible for that opportunity to earn money in a boxing career going forward. So is this the retirement bag, or do you actually think you can win? Because I read a study recently, and I believe it said something along the lines of men overemphasize or overcalculate their ability to fight by about 500 times. And I'm saying Jake Paul would probably need to be 500 times better to stand a chance against Anthony Joshua. And I can't get how he doesn't already know this. Surely he has sparred with heavyweights. Surely the recent sparring that he had with the likes of Shakur Stevenson and with the likes of Ray Ford, amongst others, Badu Jack, surely that would have taught you that there are levels to boxing. And if these small guys are able to show you things that you had no idea that you were vulnerable to in a boxing ring, what happens when someone who hits 4, 5, 6 times as hard as that does the exact same thing to you and lands it on your chin? The whole reason of why I know where I am in the influencer boxing scene, in the misfit scene, is because of the level that I have sparred at. I've sparred boys that have gone on to box for world titles. I've sparred with English champions, and I've sparred with loads of Southern area champions. And doing that enabled me to understand what level I can reach in boxing and what level I can't reach. And some people might say, ah, well, Jake Paul's clearly more ambitious than you. There's no reason for him to be, because he's not a better pound-for-pound boxer than me. So there really is no reason. And that really does make me think that one of two things have happened. Jake Paul has never, ever had serious elite sparring anywhere near.
Analysts Adam Catterall and Nick Peake didn't hesitate to point out the obvious gap between the two fighters. Their reaction highlights that Joshua is simply too big, too strong, and too experienced for Jake Paul. They believe this fight will look less like a competitive contest and more like a sparring session dominated by Joshua. The size difference is massive, the power gap is undeniable, and the experience levels are incomparable. From their perspective, this matchup shouldn't even exist from a pure boxing standpoint. Joshua has nothing to gain from this fight, nothing to prove, nothing he needs. They see the entire event as commercially driven rather than a true sporting competition. For them, the fight's purpose is entertainment, not legitimate competition.
Climbed the domestic rankings in America, and he might even make top 50. He might make top 50 if you pick him right, great. But if you put him in with meritocracy and put him in rankings and actually make him fight the number 49 guy in America or try and climb up, he's going to get found out because he's a nutter novice. Now I know, I speak from experience here. I did an exhibition bout with Shane Neary, a former world champion, and I was fucking 2 or 3 stone bigger than him. I was 5 inches bigger than him, very similar to AJ and Jake Paul. And I was a novice. I'd boxed, sparred and moved around my whole life, but I'd never been in a competitive fight. And we did it for charity. And we did 3 rounds. And at the end of it, I realised, and I knew it going in, that Shane Neary controlled pretty much every second of those 3 minutes. Pretty much every second he controlled. He put the pressure on me in 1 round, he hit me with the body shot in the 2nd round, and he caught everything I threw at him in the 3rd round when he said, go on, try and knock me out. Caught everything. And, you know, in a similar vein, Anthony Joshua controls every second of this fight that he wants to control, because he comes from a certain level of stock that Jake Paul can't shortcut his way to. This fight is happening because Jake Paul sees the name Anthony Joshua and has probably gone. It's that conversation in the schoolyard, isn't it? What would you do for what would you do for $1 million? What would you do for 2 million? What would you do for 10 million? What would you do for 100 million? Would you let Anthony Joshua punch you in the face for 100 million notes? Yeah, I fucking would. Absolutely, AJ. Step up, mate. Take your best shot. Wake me up in the hospital. Cha-ching. Isn't Jake Paul doing the same thing? Getting 100 million quid off Netflix to let Anthony Joshua punch him in the face.
Right. Apart from whatever it is, 50, 60, 70 million, whatever the figure is for Anthony Joshua, I only see this.
Wade, host of the Wade Concept podcast, digs even deeper into why this matchup feels completely unjustifiable. According to him, there is no logical angle that makes this fight make sense. Jake Paul lacks the experience, timing, punch resistance, and natural power that Anthony Joshua possesses at the elite level. Joshua has fought world champions, knockout artists, and highly skilled technicians. Jake, in comparison, has limited professional rounds and has never faced anyone in Joshua's size bracket. WD believes Paul cannot realistically stand in front of Joshua. The skill gap is extreme, and the danger level is too high. Even Jake's confidence and motivation can't change the reality of the matchup. Wade also argues that any strategy Jake tries, even an attempt to surprise Joshua, will fail. Joshua is too experienced and too technically sound to fall for simple traps. He further adds that even the marketing of the fight feels forced. While the clash of 2 big names makes for flashy promotion, the actual sporting value is missing. His views echo what many analysts believe: the fight is more spectacle than sport.
Inflated ego, whatever is making Jake take this fight. And I don't think it's healthy for him at all. I think this is going to be one-way traffic. I think AJ is going to hurt him very badly. And speaking of the insanity of this thing, here is what the first line is. Jake as a plus 800. I have a feeling that's going to shift even more toward AJ at minus 1,500, because again, how could you even see Jake winning this fight? Where is the possibility for Jake to actually get it done? I mean, look at this picture from them playing paintball a couple of years ago, I guess, or I don't know if it was paintball, but some sort of airsoft like gunfighting. But look at the difference in the size. And I get it, you know, size doesn't just win fights, but AJ doesn't just have the size. He is more experienced at the highest level. He has fought guys that are smaller than him and are more experienced and better than Jake is. Again, Alexander Usyk twice. What better experience? I know Usyk is southpaw, but what better experience to get you prepared to fight a smaller guy than to fight the best, smallest guy coming up to heavyweight in Usyk that you could find? Yes, AJ is plotty and he's maybe a little stiff, and maybe his chin is not what it used to be, but that's still Anthony Joshua. So Nikisa Badarian did an interview with Sky Sports, Jake Paul's manager and co-founder of MVP. He had some things to say about the fight. Obviously, they're going to do a massive press tour around this thing. Let's take a look and listen at why Nikisa, maybe a hot take, says that Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua is more winnable for Jake Paul than Gervonta Davis would have been.
How dangerous is this for Paul?
This is a more dangerous fight than Gervonta Tank Davis, but it's a more winnable fight than Gervonta Tank Davis. Gervonta was small, fast, super skilled,
That is a fucking hot take. That's a I don't know if that's crazy, but it's a hot take. Let's hear his reasoning.
Gervonta was small, fast, super skilled. Joshua is big, heavy puncher, but not as evasive. So I think if Jake has the right game plan, he has a pretty good shot of winning this fight.
That's crazy. Now, first off, a winnable fight with Gervonta Davis. It was an exhibition, so, wins and losses, we weren't really going to be able to count there. But saying that it is a risky but more winnable fight, it's so hard to get on board with even the thought of Jake winning this. Like, there's only really, I think, one, maybe two avenues where Jake possibly can in some way win it. But when Nikisa says it's a more dangerous but also more winnable, the only thing my mind jumps to is Jake is going to have to stand in front of Anthony Joshua, a literal destroyer at heavyweight, a literal one punch, send you to the hospital, potentially end your career puncher at heavyweight, and take the risk of eating that punch just to land a punch that potentially could knock AJ out. That is why the risk and reward factor, I have to think Nikisa's talking about.
Professional boxer Lawrence Oakley brings another viewpoint to the discussion. He offers to help Jake Paul in sparring to prepare for the Anthony Joshua fight, but admits that Joshua isn't the type to rush for a first-round knockout. Joshua's style is measured, calculated, and based on reading his opponent before making decisions. Oakley explains that the pace of the fight depends heavily on how capable the opponent is. However, he also makes it clear that even if Joshua doesn't aim for an early knockout, the mismatch still remains enormous. Jake would have to slow the fight down, absorb heavy punches, and survive pressure he has never experienced. According to Oakley, the only slim chance for Jake is hoping Joshua takes his time. But even then, Joshua's natural power and skill are overwhelming.